Yes, Mr. Sir Best, Steve Best, live from the UCB-UK headquarters there in Stoke-on-Trent with our Olympic moment. Good morning, sir.
God save the Queen, land of hope and glory, and tally-ho, boys and girls.
You forgot you all.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Grant's boss.
Oh, hey, listen, not that we're bragging, but I just want you to know that the United States now is ahead in everything.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I do want to pay tribute to one of your athletes, because you have a man who's literally seems to be made of iron. I'm sure you heard about one of your relay runners, Manteo Mitchell. You hear what happened to him?
He broke his leg and still ran the race.
He only came in 1 second under his personal best after running half his leg with one leg. I mean, that's insane. So I say respect to Manteo Mitchell. Take my hat off.
How did it happen, Steve? Do you know?
Well, you know, you're under high stress when you run any of the sprint events. I mean, you can easily pull muscles. You often get pulled hamstrings, Achilles tendons. I've never heard of a leg breaking halfway around, but they are under enormous stress. So I can imagine it must have just been a stress fracture. But for him to keep going like that is insane. I mean, I'm very impressed with that.
Well, he did, and like you said, he ended up coming in 1 second under his personal best. So hats off to Manteo Mitchell, and he did a wonderful job. All right, so bolted, but boy, it was barely, wasn't it?
Well, you know, I think he had room to spare there. He said he was tiring near the end, but he was slowing down when he won. I'll tell you what it is, Perry, that people love in this country about Usain Bolt. He's not one of these athletes that finishes the race and just disappears off the track. He was out there for ages. He was signing autographs. He was hamming it up with people. He even borrowed a Swedish photographer's camera and started snapping away pictures. I mean, this guy gives great value for money, and the Brits love him. They'll even forgive him saying, "I'm the greatest ever," because, to be frank, when it comes to running, he probably is, and we love him because he's great. He's great public value for money.
Yeah, I saw where he was helping the press out by taking some pictures. I don't know, is there a rule against that? I mean, because the press isn't allowed on the field, are they?
Well, there are some that are allowed, they have access, but you've seen the pictures, I suppose. They're actually pretty good. I mean, he did a good job with these. He was mainly taking pictures of Johan Blake, who came second, but he did a good job. So maybe there's a new career for Usain Bolt when he finishes with athletics.
Do you, does the Brits have any possibilities between now and the end to pick up a few more?
Well, talking about athletics, I think probably our biggest hope is Mo Farah, who won the 10,000 metres last weekend. He goes tomorrow night in the 5,000 metres final. I think he's definitely got the potential to win. It really depends how much recovery time he's had. He admitted to being a little bit weary in the semi-final a couple of days ago, but he's probably our best hope. There are one or two possibilities in the 800 metres for women and the 1,500, but I think when it comes to athletics, Mo Farah is probably our best bet. But you heard we got a Taekwondo gold last night. That was pretty amazing.
There you go. Yeah, congratulations. You know, I watched the big race in the lake.
Yeah.
And how long was that? That was a long race, wasn't it?
That is 10 kilometres, 10,000 metres, which is a ridiculous swim. That's actually in the centre of London. It's called the Serpentine, which is in one of the big parks. I wouldn't say the water's dirty, but it's not the cleanest water either.
Well, I was just going to ask you that because it looked a tad murky. What's the temperature of that?
Well, they do actually test the temperature beforehand to make sure everything's okay. It's probably about 40 or 50 degrees at the moment, but these guys are pretty hardened, these open water swimmers. It would be described as murky, but it's not dirty, let's put it that way.
Wow. Well, I watched that and I thought, man, that is a long haul. All right, so we're coming up to the big finale, and have they released who are some of the entertainers?
They're starting to reveal some of the names. There are still a few rumours going about. Basically, the idea is about showcasing the best in British pop music and British culture. Now, we don't know too much about the ceremony apart from the musical side of things. Quite a good lineup. Steve is going to like this. The Who are going to be there.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
The British rock band Muse, who I'm a big fan of, they're going to be playing.
Oh, wow.
A guy called Ed Sheeran, who's a very good kind of acoustic artist. And Madness, the 80s ska band, they're going to be there. And then I know Paulina will love this. George Michael and the Spice Girls are going to be there too.
Yoo-hoo!
She can't wait.
I can tell she's excited.
Yeah, we may have our own version of that Monday morning.
The Spice Girls are rumoured to be appearing on top of London taxis. This is what we're hearing anyway. So who knows what's going.
It's interesting you'd say that. I was kind of curious why a London taxi wasn't used somewhere either in the opening or the ending ceremonies. I mean, it's kind of like an icon for your country, isn't it?
Well, what they tend to do these days, Perry, is that they're not so much black taxis anymore. They actually paint them up. So there were some taxis in the opening ceremony, but they weren't black. I have a feeling, though, they're going to be using some for the closing ceremony. So you'll get a chance to check them out. Good chance to see them.
Well, now listen, the other story we had today is apparently the mayor of London saying, hey, we'd like to have you all come back.
Well, you know, Boris Johnson, he's never one to miss an opportunity, a public relations opportunity. I have to say, to be honest with you, he gets a lot of criticism for being a bit of a bumbling fool, but I think he knows exactly what he's doing, and I think he's a very shrewd man, and he's actually doing a great job for London, because let's face it, he might, you know, be getting stuck on zip lines here and there, but at least people are noticing him.
Yeah.
And I think he's putting London across in a very positive way. He's loving the games. He's even been spotted on tube trains in London and buses, people taking pictures with him. He's totally out there amongst the people and absolutely loving the games like all of us are. Well,
that's wonderful. But he did say he'd go ahead and hand the flag off to Rio, and he'll go ahead with everything. And anything else that they may need, like maybe a stadium or...
Boris is your man. He's your man.
I just thought, you know, we could hand him Charles and Camille. How about that?
I tell you what, I've got to say, actually, Perry, William and Kate and Harry have been at a lot of the events.
Yeah.
They've actually had a very high profile, and they've really enjoyed themselves too. It's great to see them supporting British sport, because they didn't have to, but they really have thrown themselves into it, and I think that reflects very well on the royal family.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So how's the press reacting to everything? You think it's turned out to be okay for them?
I would say definitely yes. The British press is in raptures over the Olympics. I think we're going to be trying to find something to talk about after it finishes on Sunday. The reaction around the world has been generally very positive. The only people who are slightly sniffy about it are those who we've beaten, like the French, who just don't like us at all. But Paris was up for the Olympics anyway, so they were never happy when they lost that. So, and then the Australians are a bit miffed as well. But these are just traditional rivalries. That's where it comes from.
Well, I was going to ask you that, the traditional rivalries with the other Commonwealth, say Australia, New Zealand, and then some of your European friends, is it friendly or is it still a little sticky?
There's the French is always this kind of politically that everyone gets on fine, but I've got plenty of French friends, but there is this kind of rivalry and insulting rivalry going on. They refer to us as les roast beef or roast beef, you know. The Australians, they just think that we have no culture, which is kind of ironic, really.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mike will tell you it's probably the other way around, but we don't want to get into slanging matches here. But most of our European friends are loving it. So the Germans are very impressed with it. They've said great things. The Swiss also very impressed. The Italians, the Spanish, looking at all the different media reactions. And the Brazilians are really excited. Obviously, they've got the Olympics in 4 years' time, and they've been taking very close notes on the way we've done things. Yeah. And they're really excited too.
Well, Sir Bess, it's been wonderful. Now, when is the closing event? I know it's on Sunday, but what time there? Because you guys are about 8 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, it's, well, I can tell you, your time, it'll be 1 p.m. It's 9 p.m. British time. And it's about a 2.5-hour event, so it'll all be done and dusted by midnight in Britain. And then the whole thing will be over, which it's going to be very sad for me, because I've absolutely loved these last 2.5 weeks. It's been fantastic.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you, sir. Blessings on you, and look forward to talking to you again next week. And, you know, let's see if you guys are able to pick up a few more medals, and maybe we can too. And we'll just see what the tally is at the first of next week.
We will see. Tally-ho, chaps. Have a great day.